ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Namaste, my dear friends. This is video number 31 on Viveka Chudamani of Adi Sankaracharya. This video starts with the topic practice of knowledge. This is the topic where there is dialogue between disciple and the perceptor. This video starts with verse number 480. Iti Guru Vachna Chruti Pramana Tapram Vagamme Sattvamatam Yuktaya Prasmit Karne Samahitatma Kavchid Chala Kirti Atmani Nishtho Bhutah. Through the words of the teacher, the pronouncement of the scriptures, and by his own reasoning, with senses controlled and mind fixed, at an auspicious moment, realizing the supreme truth, he becomes motionless in form and perfectly established in the self. Earlier in the first quarter of the text, the disciple asked, when I reject the Panchakosas, I find that there is nothing what is there to be experienced, and with what? It is all a big zero. The Guru started his answer from verse 213 and concluded his arguments in the verse 478, summarizing the conclusions of the Upanishads. So far, with what has been said by the teacher compared with the Upanishadic declarations and one's own independent logical thinking, one gets indirect knowledge of the self. Now, having gained this indirect knowledge, if he quietens his sense organs and also quietens his mind and intellect in contemplation of Narayana, he gains direct experience of the reality. Thus, the disciple becomes immovably established in the nature of the self. A rare student thus becomes. Stanza number 481. किंचित कालम समाधाय प्रे ब्रह्मणि मानसम उत्थाय प्रम आनंद दिदम वचनम ब्रवीत. After concentrating his mind on the Supreme Brahma for some time, he rose and out of supreme bliss he spoke as follows. When one transports oneself into the experience of infinitude, nobody can say how long the experience will last. There is no count of time. It all depends upon the individual. Time is relative and its standards cannot be exchanged in the different planes of consciousness. To reach there is your Purushartha but having reached no Purushartha is involved. Having lived in that state of Samadhi for an immeasurable period of time, the disciple rose from his seat of meditation. He could not contain his joy within the web of his body, mind, intellect, equipment. So he cried out and declared in exquisite ecstasy the infinite bliss of his experience. Stanza number 482. बुद्धिर्विनिष्टा गलिता प्रवृत्ति ब्रह्मा आत्मनो कत्याधिगत्या इदम ने जाने पे निदम ने जाने किम वा किव यद्वा सुखमस्त पारम. My intellect is completely raised and all activities have dropped off by realizing the oneness of Atma and Brahma. I understand neither this nor not this, nor do I know what or of what measure is this endless bliss. My intellect is gone. Buddhir vinishta. The intellect which was asking 1,000 questions: why, how, when, where, what. That intellect, even if I search for it now, I cannot find it. It has completely ended, meaning in it there is no trace of agitation. My activity at all levels of personality is completely dissolved. Galita Parvartihi. The activity and the intellect are not destroyed because of tamas, but they are dissolved at the altar of the experience that the self in me is the self everywhere. Brahma Atam no rekhataya adhigataya. Having awakened to the plane of consciousness, the present intellect is no more, and so the various egocentric activities cannot be pursued. The function of the intellect is to discriminate. Now a stage has come where I do not understand anything as this, nor do I understand anything as not this, not this, not this. I do not see anything other than Brahma. I see only one Brahma everywhere at all times. That experience cannot be explained. I cannot, in terms of measure, say what it is or how much it is. What and how much are the methods of explaining a thing, they being the questions asked during a qualitative and quantitative analysis. The experience of infinitude cannot be subjected to such analysis. To explain a thing, the intellect is necessary. The intellect cannot explain an experience that transcends it. All that I can say is Brahma alone is all that is. It is endless bliss. With that experience, when I look around, all things get destroyed in the sense, all names and forms disappear and only pure consciousness remains. The meditator, without getting up from his seat, jumps up and dances without legs in the ecstatic joy where there is no mind to enjoy and thunders forth where there is no mouth to talk. Verse number 483. Vacha vaktu mashakamev mansa manu ne va shakyate सब आनंद मृत पूर्व पुरित पर ब्रह्म बंधु भवम अभोराशि वशीर्णम वार्षिक शिला भावम भजन में मनो यसा शांसल्वे विलीन मधुना आनंद आत्मना निर्विरतम. Impossible for speech to express, impossible for the mind to conceive is the splendor of the ocean of the Supreme Brahma, replete with the swell of the nectarine bliss of the self. In an infinitesimal part of it, my mind merged like a hailstone in the ocean is now content with the essence of that bliss. A change of meter is adopted here to shoot the song of ecstasy. It is impossible to express in words the experience of infinitude. It is not possible to think of that experience with the mind. It is the glory of the ocean of the Supreme Self which is immortal joy. This glory is the unending infinite bliss of my own real nature. Overflowing bliss, eternal and immortal, is the ocean of the infinite self whose glory can neither be expressed nor thought of. When I go there, I cannot exist. When I come back, I cannot explain. What happens to you at that time? Amborsi Visrun Varshikasi Bhavam Bhajan me Manu. My mind becomes exactly like the hailstone fallen in the ocean. A hailstone is essentially water. When it falls into the vast expanse of water, the ocean, it may sink in and reach a few yards below the surface, then there is no more going or coming. It becomes the ocean. Similarly, the mind in meditation can take you thus far and no further. All that I can say is that it is Ananda. In it there is a complete sense of fulfillment. It is the joy in which there is no trace of the fear of ever losing it. When the mind meditates on Brahma, since it is of the nature of Brahma, it itself becomes Brahma. Stanza number 484. कौ गतम केन वा नितम कुत्र लीनमिदं जगत् अधुनेव मया दृष्टं नास्ति किम मैद्र अद्भुतम. Where has it gone? Who has removed it? Where has the universe merged? Just now it was seen by me. Has it now ceased to be? Wonder of wonders. The experience of infinitude is being dramatized on the stage of the finite. The disciple asks, where has the pluralistic world gone? By whom was it removed? I saw a world before which I do not see now. Into what has it dissolved? Is it that all these years I was suffering in a non existing world? A wonder of wonders it is. The world I saw was a wonder. Greater still is the wonder that it has all disappeared now. The wonder of wonders is what I am experiencing now. Stanza 485. किम हेयम किमुपादेयम किमन्यक्तिम विलक्षणम अखंड आनंद पीयूष पूर्णे ब्रह्मान्वे. What is to be accepted and what rejected, what is different and what dissimilar in the mighty ocean of Brahma, filled with the nectar of absolute bliss. Here one remembers Sri Ramakrishna's parable of the salt doll entering the ocean to measure its depth and becoming the ocean itself, being essentially of the nature of the ocean. The ocean of Brahma is the limitless nectar of bliss. In that boundless, overflowing, unbroken bliss, what is to be shunned or accepted? There is nothing other than it. It alone is. You cannot say that because in it there is not this. This you cannot say because there is no that. There is no thisness or thatness. It is isness. Even this is a compromise. It is endless bliss. Verse number 486. Ne kinchit datra pashyami, ne sharnomi, ne ved mahem, sau atam nayo sada anand rupen asmi vilakshanah. In this I neither see nor hear nor know anything. I exist as the Atma, bliss, eternal, distinct from everything else. In the culmination of meditation, where the meditator has merged into the meditation, there are no objects other than me, nor are there any equipments of experience. There is neither mind nor intellect. I simply exist as myself. Sav Atam Neva. It is the total annihilation of the individuality at the altar of the Absolute. In my own self, I revel as myself with myself, which is of the nature of unbroken bliss at all times. Unique it is, something totally different from all that is known. Stanza number 487. Namo Namaste Gurve Mahatamne विमुक्त संगाय सदुत्तमाय नित्य दया आनंद स्वरूपिणे भूमने सदा पारद बुद्धामने. Salutations to thee, O noble Guru, who art free from attachments, best among the noble ones, the embodiment of the essence of eternal, non-dual bliss, who art endless, ever the limitless ocean of mercy. The student remembers his teacher who has showed him the path and is grateful to him. O large hearted one, Mahatamne, he exclaims, large-hearted because in spite of our weaknesses and animal tendencies, he with his infinite kindness lifts us from our present limitations to the visions of this great goal. The salutations are not offered to the form, the physical frame of the teacher. For he who is best among realized ones, who has segregated himself from his physical, emotional, and intellectual layers, from egocentric attitudes, and from the sense of fulfillment arising out of objects, emotions, and thoughts, is the Guru. The teacher is of the nature of Brahma itself. He is addressed here as best among the realized ones because there are a number of realized ones in the world, but it is this master who has helped the student and guided him to the realization of the self. The description of the teacher given in this verse is that of Brahma itself, Nitya, Advaya, and Anand Swarupa. The teacher is that shoreless ocean of kindness which is eternal, non dual, and the all pervading bliss form. To that teacher, my namaskaras. Stanza number 488. यत कटाक्षर शशि चंद्र चंद्रिका पात धूत भवता पद्यश्रम प्राप्त वा मखंड भव आनंद आत्म पद भक्षयम अक्षणात्, whose glance like a cascade of moonbeams has removed my fatigue caused by the miseries of the world and taken me to the indestructible bliss of infinite splendor, the Atma in but a moment. As the moon cools the earth, which has been baked by the sun during the day, the sorrows arising in one's bosom become of worldly tensions are lifted by the compassionate glance of the teacher. The personality which has been feeling the tensions of sansaric sorrows is cooled and comforted, and the disciple rises to the state of selfhood, the glory of which is unbroken bliss, blessed by the grace of the Guru. The sansaric exhaustions gathered during one's lifetime are all lifted from the personality in a twinkle of the eye by the Guru's grace. The example of the moonlight cooling the earth is taken because the moon does not actually come in contact with the earth to remove its heat. In the presence of the moon, the earth by itself gives up the heat gathered during the day. Similarly, the student in the presence of the teacher, guided by his knowledge, himself reaches the cool comfort of the blissful state of the self and leaves all the tensions and stresses of life created by the ego and the endless avarices of the flesh. All this happens in the flash of a moment by just one look. To that great Guru, my namaskaras. Stanza number 489. धन्यो अहम कृत करतो अहम विमुक्तो अहम भवग्रहात् नित आनंद स्वरूपो अहम पूर्णो अहम तव अनुग्रहात्. Blessed am I have reached the fulfillment of my life and am free from the shark of transmigration. I am the embodiment of eternal bliss. I am the infinite all by your grace. Blessed am I have attained the fulfillment of my life. I am completely liberated from the clutches of the shark of sansar. Sansar is compared to a shark because the shark will not eat you up limb by limb. It will swallow you whole, shoot and boot. The digestion takes place without your knowledge, even when you are living inside. In the chambers of the belly, you can walk about. You can go to office, you can eat, sleep and breathe, and the digestive secretions will slowly work upon you and reduce you to a deplorable state. Are we not living this living death in the belly of sansar? Having realized the selfhood, I am liberated from this death and hence am indeed blessed. As the self, I am of the nature of eternal bliss. I am full. There is no sense of deficiency, and consequently, there is no desire to supply it. All this is can by the grace, O teacher, to thee my namaskaras. Stanza number 490. Asango ham anango ham lingo ham bhangur Prashanto ham ananto ham mallo ham chirantanam. Unattached am I, disembodied am I, free from the subtle body am I, and undecaying serene am I, infinite am I, unsullied am I, and endless too. The teacher has been advising and guiding the student up to verse 478. From verse 482 onwards, it is the student who is talking. Having realized this selfhood, the student talks about his experience of infinitude. From stanza 482 to 489, he was talking as the PFT. Now the entire vision has changed. Having reached the Paramatman, the individual who has become the self cries out in the ecstasy of his identification with Brahma. These verses help the sadhakas in their contemplation. Unattached am I, asangoham. It is only the BMI that get attached to the world of OET, and in their self-identification they conjure up the miserable PFT attitude themselves. Attachment is the function of the am and I, and the state of selfhood being beyond the am and I, there cannot be any sense of attachment. In the one infinite mass of consciousness, who can get attached to what? disembodied am I, anangoham, in the homogeneous mass of consciousness, which is the nature of the self. There can never be any separate part with different structures and functions, as the self is a realm transcending the physical, mental, and intellectual bodies. There are no limbs in the self. Free from the subtle body am I, alingoham, the instruments of feeling and thinking together constitute the subtle body, which is otherwise called in Vedanta as Linga Sarira. The term Alinga means one devoid of the am and I and thereof their agitation. Undecaying am I, abhanguraha. The term also can mean without sprout. In the context, here it means that there will be no vasanas sprouting into thoughts and actions. The meaning and the ideas conveyed by the rest of the terms are given elsewhere. Contemplate upon them. Verse number 491. अकर्ता हम भोक्ता हम विकारो हम क्रियः शुद्ध बोध स्वरूपो अहम केवलो अहम सदाशिवः. I am not the doer, I am not the experiencer, I am without modification and without activity. I am the embodiment of pure knowledge. I am absolute and eternal auspiciousness am I. The Atma functioning through the mind is the doer and expressing through the intellect is the enjoyer. Since the mind and the intellect have been transcended, what remains is the self. Enjoyment of one's own self, Savrupa Ananda, then becomes possible, and the enjoyment of other objects, Visaya Ananda or Dvaita Ananda or Bhoga Ananda, is not possible. Activities take place in me, but I have no activity. I am pure knowledge, the objectless awareness. I am that in whose presence all knowledge is possible. I am knowledge of a thing minus the thing. Absolute and ever auspicious, immaculate and without imperfections am I. Verse number 492. Drashtuhu, Shrotu, Vaktuhu, Kartu, Bhogtu, Vibhinne evaham, Nitya Nirantram Niskriyani, Sima Sangpurn Bodhatma. Indeed, I am other than the seer, hearer, speaker, doer, and experiencer. I am eternal and unbroken, beyond activity, boundless, unattached, and infinite, the essence of knowledge. Trying to express in words that which is beyond the reach of words, he feels as it were choked, hence the choking meter. The incapacity to express the inexpressible is indicated in this stammering verse. Seer, hearer, speaker, doer, and enjoyer all put together form the individuality. When the individuality is transcended, one reaches the state of selfhood. There is the negation of the PFT in the first half and the assertion of Om in the latter half of the verse. Upon this, contemplate. Stanza number 493. न हम्मिदं न मदोप्यभोर्वभास्कं परं शुद्धं बाह्या अभ्यंतर शून्यं पूर्णं ब्रह्मा अद्वितीयोमेवाहम्. I am neither this nor that, but the supreme illuminator of both. I am pure. I have neither an exterior nor an interior. I am infinite. Verily, I am the non-dual Brahma. The student, while experiencing the pure consciousness, feels, I am neither this which I considered myself to be through avidya, nor am I that which the teacher made me understand through vidya. I am the illuminator of both these avidya and vidya, which are but aspects of my intellect. I am the supreme self. This means the body. With reference to the body, we generally say inside and outside. Inside the body are matters subjective, and outside the body are matters objective. If the body itself is not, then what is inside or what is outside? Inside and outside of what? In deep sleep, when the body is not available, there is no inside and outside. In that condition, is the darkness inside or outside the body? It is Purnam, all full. I am the non-dual Brahma, other than which there is nothing at all. Verse number 494. Nirupam manadituswam tavam mi mad iti kalpana duram nit anand karsam satyam brahma divityo vaham. I am unparalleled, the originless reality beyond such imaginations as you and I, this and that, the essence of bliss eternal, the truth non-dual Brahma am I. Reality is unequaled and is without beginning. Time itself is a concept projected on Brahma. Egocentric attachment with my body, gross, subtle, and causal, is I. Egocentric projection on your body is you. Thus, you and I can only be at the egocentric BMI level. With reference to my body, that which is nearer to it is this, and that which is further away is that. This and that are just another set of superimpositions at the gross level. These concepts imply conditioning in space. The self is beyond time, space, and causation, eternal and non dual. That Brahma am I. Stanza number 495. Narayano aham, narkanto aham, पुरांतो अहम पुरुषो हमीश अखंडो बोधो हम शेषा साक्षी निरीक्षरो अहम निर्हम च निर्मम. I am Narayana. I am the slayer of Narka. I am the destroyer of Tripura. I am the supreme being, the Lord. I am unbroken knowledge. I am the witness of everything. I have no other Lord, and I am devoid of I and mine. Who makes these statements? It is not the one who is the son or daughter of one's parents. It is the one who is established Aruddha in the self who cries out. Nara is Brahma, Aina is the glory, Narayana is one whose glory is the whole universe. Narka is hell, Nartaka is one who has ended his hell, one in whose there is no trace of sorrow. Living at the body level is to be in Narka. The criminal, the devil who creates hell for one is the PFT. One's own, not somebody else's. Narkasura, the ugly devil with horns and tail, is the inflated ego. When he is destroyed, the Atma is attained. In mythology, Lord Shiva is Purantaka, the destroyer of the demon Tripurasura. The deeper implication of the term is this: Puri means a town in which people live. Individuals live in the three states of waking, dream, and deep sleep. When these three worlds are transcended, one enters the state of selfhood, also called the Turiya state. It is the fourth plane of consciousness, and hence he is the destroyer of the three Puris. At every moment in our lives, we live in our Puri, destroying the other two. We are not able to destroy all the three at the same time. Lord Shiva, the embodiment of auspiciousness, absolute, is the one who has accomplished this feat. He is the supreme meditator. He am I. Shiva am I. Shivoham. I am Purusha, the Atma, who dwells in this equipment. I am Isa, the Lord, the controller, the ruler, the regulator. But for me, the body would not have worked. But for me, none of the experiences of waking, dream, and deep sleep would have been possible. Because of me, everything is possible. Without me, nothing can be. Naturally, therefore, Isa am I, the Lord of all experiences. I am objectless knowledge, the witness of everything, without exception. When I myself have become Isvara, how can there be any other Isvara for me? I am the self without I-ness and my-ness. Verse number 496. Sarvesu bhutesvamev संसितो ज्ञाना आत्मना बहिराश्रय सन भोक्ता च भोग्यम सौमेव सर्वम यद पृथ्वी दृष्टि मिदयंतया पुरा. I alone reside as knowledge in all beings and am their external and internal sport. I myself am the experiencer and the experienced. I am all that was experienced by me separately as this and not this before. I alone revel in all creatures as their knowledge. When a scientist discovers what is in outer space and a bird understands what is edible, in both cases the understanding principle is I alone. The discriminative intellect in the scientist and that in the bird could not have functioned without me. I am the light in which all subjects know their objects. The subject and the object, the enjoyer and the enjoyed are all nothing but me. On waking, one realizes that the mind itself had become the dreamer and the dream world. So too all that was declared as this before awakening to one's selfhood is now realized as one's own self. Stanza number 497. मया अखंड सुखा बोधो बहुधा विश्वच्य उत्पदन्ते विलियन्ते माया मरुति विभ्रमस्मात्. In me, the ocean of unbroken bliss, endless waves of the universe are created and destroyed by the play of the storm of Maya. The infinite varieties of the names and forms in the world around are but ripples and waves in me, the ocean of infinite bliss. The world of plurality rises from truth, exists in truth, and dies away in truth. That truth am I. The waves rise in the ocean because of the breeze, the winds, and the storms. Maya, the non apprehension of reality, is cause because of which the waves of misapprehension rise, exist, and subside in me. Who am I? The ocean of bliss. Stanza number 498. सथुलादि भावा मयि कल्पिता भरमा दारोपिता सफूर्णेन लोकहि काले यथा कल्प कत्वस्राय नत्वदियो निष्कल निर्वकल्पये. Concepts of gross, etc., are wrongly imagined in me by people because of the manifestation of superimpositions, just as in the indivisible and absolute time, cycles, years, half years, seasons, etc., are imagined. Concepts of gross, subtle, and causal bodies are created by the non apprehension of reality. These attitudes are all superimpositions upon me, the self. Time is indivisible and absolute. It is not possible to divide it into parts. Yet, for the comprehension of the human mind, units of time have been conceived: cycles, years, half years, seasons, months, fortnights, weeks, days, hours, minutes, and seconds are all imaginary projections in the absolute time. A minute is also time, a month is also time, years are also time. All these distinctions are in time. Similarly, in the undivided hush and quiescence of the mind, in that absolute reality, there is neither anything subtle nor anything gross. All these are but superimpositions. In these verses, Sankara pointedly tells us that for the man of realization, there is no sanchita, agami, or prarabdha. When I have no gross or subtle bodies, how can I have prarabdha? Prarabdha is for him who sees the body. Stanza number 499. आरोपितं न आश्रय दुष्कं भवेत् कदापि मूढ़ैरति दोष दूषितः नाद्रीकरोतुस् भूमि भागं मरीचा वारी महाप्रवाह. The misapprehension of the snake rises in the rope, exists in the rope, and dies in the rope. That which is superimposed by supremely ignorant fools can never sully the substratum. The great owners of waters, perceived in a mirage, can never wet the desert tract. by the fancy of mind. If I project something upon an object, it in fact can never have the qualities of my projection. Because of my delusory projection of a bleeding, ugly ghost upon a post, the post can never have the qualities of the ghost. The ghost can never contaminate the post. Apropitam na asrayam dushakam bhavait. The superimpositions can never contaminate the substratum. Even if the ghost seen by me vomits blood, the post will not be sullied by a single drop of blood. The causal, subtle, and gross bodies are but superimpositions upon me. How then can their karmas ever affect me? I am immaculate. The desert land cannot get wet even by floods of water seen in the mirage. Because of non apprehension, I misapprehended myself to be the body. There afterwards, whatever I did was followed by its results. The results were accrued according to the quality of my work. Karma anusara phala. Thus prarabdha, agami and sanchita were conceived. Now that I have realized the substratum, the delusory projections have ended, and hence the karma phala will not affect me at all. Stanza number 500. आकाश वल्ले विदुर्गोहम मादित्य भववद्या विलक्षणो अहम ऐहार्य विभिन्न विनिश्चोलहम ममोधिवत पारी विवर्जितो अहम. Like space, I am beyond contamination. Like the sun, I am distinct from things illumined. Like the mountain, I am always motionless. Like the ocean, I am limitless. Like space, I can never be contaminated. I am not involved, even an iota, in the activities and experiences of the body. Like the sun, I am other than all that is illumined. The sun is not the world. Through everything in the world is illumined by it. My body and its activities, my mind and its emotions, and my intellect and its thoughts are all things illumined by me. The consciousness, I am something different from them at all. Like the mountain immovable am I and limitless like the ocean. All these terms extol the infinite reality which is beyond them all. These pointers to truth are to be used in one's contemplation and deep meditation. At this stage, I conclude this video, and next video number 32 we will continue with the topic of video number 31, that is the dialogue between the disciple and his preceptor. Thank you for watching this video. Namaskar, my dear friends. Thank you.